Hello, my Beauties and Beasties out there. Welcome to Beauties and Beasts, a podcast of all things Beauty and the Beast. I'm DF here with another episode analyzing a show that relates to Beauty and the Beast. And I want to remind everybody that from now on, I will be streaming new episodes privately for $10 plus patrons only, if they're able to make it. And recordings will then become available for $5 plus patrons before the official release date on Thursday. So I want to remind all you $10 plus patrons out there to check their Gmail and the Skype group, as that's where I'll be sending the links to the streams and links to the YouTube videos before their official release on my channel. So today I'm going to talk about an anime based on a manga with a very weird premise. I've been binging a lot of anime since I was sent home from work due to the epidemic, and have to say this one is the craziest, funniest, and most emotional one I've come across in the past few months. I find that it contains a brief Beauty and the Beast romantic subplot, along with a general Beauty and the Beast type relationship between a mentor and his students. I am referring, of course, to Assassination Classroom, in which a group of students have to assassinate their monstrous teacher with supernatural powers by the end of the year to save the world. Yeah, I know, it'll make more sense in time. But first, I'd like to thank my $5 plus patrons: Anime Guy 1101, Arvin Joshua Rocks 15, Dead as a Doe, Loki Gamer, and Tyrannosaurus Venom. You've all been really helpful in my time of temporary unemployment. It looks like my date to return back to work has been pushed back another couple of weeks due to the spike in the coronavirus cases, so thank you for offering what you can to hold me over until I can start getting my paycheck again. You too can support my channel by clicking the Become a Patron button, or follow the link in the description, or go to patron.podbean.com/beautiesandbeasts. That's patron.podbean.com/beautiesandbeasts. Or buy my merchandise on Redbubble. As I said, the epidemic's only getting worse, especially in the United States, and businesses are reopening anyway. So if you are going back to work or going out at all, most places you are legally required to wear a face mask. I was shocked when I went shopping at Target the other day, which said on the door face covering was required, and only half the shoppers there were actually following that rule, not including a mother with 3 kids, all uncovered. I just don't get it. I mean, what example are you setting for the kids there? And you might have the virus and not even know it, so the least you can do is stop it from spreading further. I mean, my own brother just got back from a state in the red and is confined to his room until we get his test results back. Fortunately, he has a mask from Redbubble, just in case, so if he does have the virus and he does have to leave his room, he can reduce the risk of giving us the virus. I mean, I've got a frail grandmother and a dad with diabetes, so it's vital that we try to keep the virus out of our home as well as we can. So if you are going to wear a mask, it might as well be a stylish one. I have many Beauty and the Beast type designs and LGBT pride flags available on my Redbubble shop. Just go to disneyfanatic23.redbubble.com. That's disneyfanatic23.redbubble.com. And remember, for every mask sold, Redbubble will donate another mask to Heart to Heart International to someone who needs it. Alright, and now that we're done with the PSA, let's go to the topic at hand. And I see that we've got one of our patrons in the chat right now. Let's keep the comments and questions relevant to the topic. If you missed the introduction, that today we're talking about Assassination Classroom. So, Assassination Classroom started out as a manga from 2012 to 2016, written by Yusei Matsui. You'd think with all the anime I've been binging, I'd be better at Japanese by now. And it was adapted into an anime in 2015, as well as a live-action film the same year. I did not watch that one because I find that a lot of live-action adaptations of animes are a little peculiar. I'll mostly be talking about the anime. Note that, as it consists of 47 episodes with over 30 characters and numerous subplots, I will not discuss the entire series but focus on its Beauty and the Beast elements. Alright, and Anime Guy 1101 says that he never got around to finishing the anime but did finish the manga. Okay, so while while we're talking about that, here's a major spoiler warning, as I'll be revealing some very major plot points. I'm not sure how similar the anime is to the manga, but I think it ends pretty much the same. So, the story takes place at Kanukigaoka Junior High School in Class 3E, considered the bottom class for all those underachievers and dropouts. As a way to boost morale for the other 95%, the principal has in place a system in which Class 3E are not given the same privileges as the rest of the campus, even so much that they're segregated from everyone else, and taking class in a small rundown building up the mountain. The rest of the students, as a result, are motivated to work harder so they do not end up in E-class. I know, that is a severely messed up system. As someone who has dabbled in teaching, I am just horrified by this. So naturally, nothing is really expected from E-class, and as a result, the students who end up there don't expect much of themselves either. And it all begins when the moon blows up, leaving it in a permanent crescent. The creature responsible, an octopus-like being with an emoji smiling face, makes a deal with the Japanese government, saying he will blow up the Earth next year, and in that time he would like to teach Class 3E at Kanukigaoka Junior High. Anime Guy 1101 just said, from what I know, the manga and anime are the same. It's just that a few chapters from the manga are skipped over, including my favorite arc, unfortunately. Ooh, I'm sorry about that. And because this octopus man is virtually indestructible with supernatural powers and can reach the speed of Mach 20, the government agrees to this arrangement as they're not able to kill him themselves, on the condition that the students be trained in the art of assassination and assigned to kill their teacher before he can blow up the Earth on the graduation day in March. And the assassin who succeeds will be given a reward in billions. So yeah, very huge incentive there. Although the students are given knives and bullets designed to kill their teacher, the task proves to be difficult, not just because he has powers, but because he proves to be a great teacher. As he has no name, the students dub him Korosensei, a pun on the Japanese word Korosene, unkillable, and sensei, teacher. Yeah, and like I said, if you haven't seen the whole series, major spoiler warning. To better understand the character of Korosensei, we will go into the romantic Beauty and the Beast subplot, which occurs across 2 flashback episodes in Season 2. Korosensei was once a human being and an assassin known as the Reaper, the best in the world, highly intelligent, skillful, and charming, as a result of him being an orphan and growing up in the slums, killing being all he knew. Until he was betrayed by his apprentice, who ratted him out to the government and took his place as the Reaper. The Reaper ends up at a secret government facility and becomes a test subject in an experiment for the regeneration of organisms. Organic matter. Ugh. You know what? I'm not very much into science. The lab assistant tasked with watching over him is Aguri Yakamura, the then teacher of Class 3E and the head scientist's fiancé. The Reaper takes an immediate liking to her, with her friendly demeanor and intelligence and her sense of humor, and is appalled when he sees how physically abusive her fiancé is towards her. Yeah, he may be an assassin, but he has some standards. Treat your women right, I say. And the two of them form a bond over his transformation. He even helps her with her quizzes for her class, and she thinks he might make a good teacher himself. Despite how different they are, him being an assassin and her a sweet, innocent teacher, they see each other as equals, sort of a Silence of the Lambs type dynamic. Oh, by the way, who's up for me covering Silence of the Lambs next episode while we're on the subject? Leave a comment in the chat. I do love that movie. Anyway, a year passes since the Reaper's capture. Since he doesn't know his own birthday, Aguri suggests they make their anniversary of their meeting his birthday, and gives him his signature tie, which we will see throughout the series. A few hours later, the moon blows up, not because of the Reaper, but because of the unstable molecules of a lab rat that was part of the same experiment. And Aguri warns the Reaper that he too will spontaneously combust within the year, and take the Earth with him. So we know he never intended to destroy the Earth, that it was all the government's fault. Reaper decides to make the most of his time and newfound powers and breaks free, destroying the facility. Augury tries to calm him down, but ends up being killed by one of the weapons intended for him. He holds her as she lays dying, blaming himself on how he could have used his powers to help someone else instead of fulfilling his own selfish desires. Augury's dying wish is that he take care of her students in 3E and use what little time he had left to reach out to them and help them succeed. And this he promises in her honor. So this romance ends tragically before it can truly begin. But if Korosensei had never met Augury, he wouldn't have become the teacher that her students needed. It just goes to show how much influence one person can have on you, even if your relationship is not endgame. Because of Augury and him not being able to save her, Korosensei chose to use his powers for others, and so her death would not be in vain. In the time he had left, he would be a better man for her and the students that she left behind. Yet, did I mention this was supposed to be a comedy series? Yeah, for a comedy, it has quite a lot of emotional aspects as well. I did not expect to be crying at an anime called Assassination Classroom. At the heart of it is how Korosensei, though mischievous, destructive, and a bit perverted, proves to be an excellent teacher. While the rest of the school has given up on Class 3E, Korosensei helps them discover their inner talents and reach their true potential. He treats them as individuals, not a group of underachievers, helping them realize their own unique goals, like to be a librarian, to be a diplomat, etc., which honestly all teachers should do, as not every student learns the same. Now, as there are 27 students, I won't cover all their character arcs, but focus on the main students and their relationships with Korosensei. First, there is Nagisa Shoutout, a boy often mistaken for a girl because of his long hair, and he gets teased for it a lot. He narrates a story and doesn't seem particularly skilled at first, though he ends up being the most capable assassin in the class. At one point, he thinks it's the one thing that he's good at, killing people. Korosensei, knowing how serious of a path that is, lets Nagisa know that he'll support whatever he chooses, but he must first consider the consequences of his choice. It doesn't help that Nagisa's controlling mom puts so much pressure on him and makes him wear his hair long because she always wanted a girl. She even threatens to pull him out of Class 3E, even though he's never been happier. It takes a run-in with another assassin to give Nagisa the courage to stand up to his mother and seize his own future. Over time, Nagisa comes to admire Korosensei and how he never talks down to any of them and never gives up on them. He finds that he wants to be just like Korosensei, not as an assassin, but as a teacher, to mold young minds into reaching their full potential. Korosensei highly agrees with this plan. Then there is Karma Akabane, the ultimate delinquent and close friend of Nagisa. At first, he's real scary, and he is the first to inflict a wound on Korosensei. No one thinks he will amount to anything with his violent behavior, even against teachers. And he even goes so far as to throw himself off a cliff in an attempt to shoot Korosensei as he is saving him, using his weakness to want to help the students. But Koro finds a way around it, and Karma realizes he's not like the other teachers and actually cares, not just because of his grades. And he comes to respect Korosensei and proves to be highly intelligent, especially in math, but at one point becomes too cocky and doesn't study for the finals, hurting his grades. Korosensei chides him for being lazy, giving him the harsh dose of reality he needs in order to step up and realize what is important. Alright, and Anime Guy 1101 says there are bonus chapters of the manga that were released after the manga ended, and there's a character in them that is an actual girl version of Nagisa. Huh, interesting. Because I know they make Nagisa's androgynous. I cannot say androgynous. Gender-neutral appearance, a running thing a reoccurring theme in the anime. Alright. So Karma and Nagisa end up going head-to-head after they learn Korosensei's origins. While Nagisa wants to find a way to save Korosensei, Karma thinks that they should still try to kill him, as that's what he's been training them to do. It shows how complex the student-teacher relationship is in this series. The students respect him, but also have to kill him. And Korosensei thwarts their attempts, secretly wants these students to succeed, but won't make it easy for them. Yeah, I didn't want to say running gag, anime guy, because I don't find it funny. Although Nagisa wins the battle to cure Korosensei, the Japanese government has the upper hand and traps Korosensei in an anti-him force field, with a missile to fire before the explosion deadline. The students find a way to reach him, but Korosensei says that even if he doesn't explode, the world will never accept a creature like him. So the class takes a vote, and I'm gonna have to change the music for this part. Oh man, come on, don't I have something sadder here? Okay, I'm just gonna pause the music while I'm saying this. The students take a vote on what to do. All who don't want to kill Korosensei raise their hands, and all of them raise their hands. And all who do want to kill him, they sadly all raise their hands as well. So they agree that the best thing to do for Korosensei is to kill him before the government's missile could get him. And so they all hold him down. Korosensei calls roll one last time, and Nagisa plunges the knife into his heart. And he dies, proud of all of them. Seriously, I was bawling my eyes out at this part. I did not want them to kill him, but it was the only thing that they could do for him. So, with that done, they all split the reward money and invest in their futures. Karma goes into politics, and Nagisa becomes a teacher of a classroom of delinquents. And they're prepared to beat him, saying that they'll kill him. And this reminds Nagisa of the past. So, using the moves he learned as an assassin, he smirks and says, "You could try to kill me. You have till graduation." So even though Korosensei's life came to a tragic end, he left his mark on the students' lives, like his love had left her mark on him. What's the takeaway from all this? Life is short. Don't give up on yourself. Use what time you have to give back to others in whatever way you can. You might discover a few things about yourself along the way. And that it is never too late for redemption, no matter what you have done in your life. And as a testament to the educational system, every student is unique. Not one is completely hopeless in succeeding just because you're going through a rough patch or you're having poor grades or behavioral problems. It just means that they need a different approach. With the right guidance and coaching, they can succeed in their own ways, not through fear or torment, but by treating your students with respect. And a little respect can go a long way. Overall, the series is fun, dramatic, and exciting, and a wild ride. As a little bit of everything. It was thoroughly enjoyable. And you can watch the full series on Hulu or Funimation if you have it. It's definitely worth the binge. Okay, so that's everything I have on my notes. Of course, if there's anything else you want me to talk about the series as a whole, because there's a whole lot that goes on in there, just leave a question in the chat right here. While you're thinking of that, next time on July 23rd, earlier for patrons, I was thinking of covering Silence of the Lambs, a movie about a bizarre relationship between a cannibalistic serial killer and an FBI agent in training. Oddly enough, the movie that beat Disney's Beauty and the Beast at the Oscars. Though for good reason, because it is actually a really good movie. I'm just kind of sad that Beauty and the Beast didn't win the Oscar. Would have been the only animated movie to do it. Oh well. Okay, so we've just got Anime Guy in the chat today. Actually, no surprise, since we are talking about an anime. So, any questions or anything else you want me to add to the discussion? Like, I would have talked about Kaede Kaino as well. She's also a main character, but Also, the stuff that happens with her is so mind-blowing. I feel like I don't really want to spoil that for those who have seen it, because yeah, the stuff that happens with her is very leaning up. Another thing I wanted to bring up, I know there's a bit of a shipping war between Nagisa and Karma and Nagisa and Kaede, and I gotta say I'm kind of on the fence with them. I think Nagisa and Kaede are cute. On the other hand, Karma and Nagisa kind of, well, they have a bit more of a history, and I could see why people would ship them. And on the other hand, Karma seems more interested in humiliating Nagisa and just pushing him together with Kaede because he's a troll. Alright, well, that's everything in my notes. Oh, here we go. Anime Guy 1101, I was surprised that the principal's son wasn't made a Class E student. I thought that was where his character was headed. I guess not. The fact of the matter is, his grades were still really, really good. Like, technically the principal had no reason to put him down in Class E unless it was out of spite. Yeah, the principal's son was definitely an interesting character. Not to say I liked him, just he was an interesting character. Because he was trying so hard to be the best, and for his father, and he just wanted a bit of approval, even if he was doing the best that he could. And even when he got, like, almost perfect grades, it just wasn't enough. And then he started to see that his father really was just a bit of a control freak, and that his methods just weren't working. Their relationship was definitely interesting. It was like a really messed up powered battle. Alright. And the principal, I will say, was a very interesting character foil for Korosensei. That at one point he was sort of like Korosensei. He also taught a class of underachievers wanted to succeed, but then when one of his students committed suicide, he just kind of fell apart, and everything changed. Anime Guy 1101 says, well, the son was wondering what was up with Class E, so I thought that he was going to do something to get put into the class to answer that. He probably could have. I don't think he would have wanted to. He kind of cared a little bit too much about his reputation, I would have to say. I really thought he was going to at least find out about Korosensei and use it to blackmail his father or something, but it didn't really exactly go there. But you're right. I feel like his arc was left a bit open-ended. Well, that's fine. Like I said, there are a whole lot of characters in this show, and it's kind of hard to cover every one of them. Alright, anything else you want me to bring up? Because otherwise I think I'm gonna end this early. Honestly, I'm kind of tired. Blame it on binge playing Epic Mickey, because we finally got a Wii, and we finally got the game that I've always wanted to play. Okay, so if that is all, just remember, next time, July 23rd, will be Silence of the Lambs. It'll be a few days earlier for patrons, just $10 plus patrons. Be sure to keep an eye on your Gmail or the Skype group so you can follow the link to the private streams. Okay, and Mega 1101 said, chapters 77 through 79 of the manga is the arc I was talking about before. Well, I've only seen the anime, so I don't know what that arc is about, so sorry about that. Like, do you think you could talk about a little bit what that arc's about, since it's your favorite? Okay, yeah, you can call in for that. We can make it quick. Yeah, you can call in for that. Yeah, just press the call-in button if you want to call in and talk about that. Alright. Anime Guy 1101, can you hear me right now?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So, you said that chapters 77 through 79 of the manga was your favorite arc. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, because one of the things I'd always wondered while reading the series was what would happen if one of the students from Class E actually got back into the main class, you know? Got to leave Class E finally. And that's what the arc is actually about. One of the students is actually allowed back in.
Which one is that?
Hang on, I'm using my iPad to look up his name. And okay, here, I actually got the arc on my iPad right now. Kotaro Takabashi. He's the one with the glasses.
Oh, right. Yeah, that one makes sense, because he did seem like one of the smarter ones academically.
And did you notice how all out of nowhere he's the bomb expert who's always making the bombs for the class?
Yeah.
That arc in the manga explains how he became the bomb expert for the class.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem was, like I said, they had 27 students, and some of them didn't even get their own arc. So that's.
Oh yeah, there's these two other arcs I can think of that also got skipped over for those other two students. But that was, like I said, the one I was most interested in because it answered that question of what if one of them finally got in? Oh, here's what happened if a student got back in the class. What happened?
Yeah. So what happened? If you could just sum it up real quick.
Well, basically, he gets back into the class, and it's literally right at the end of summer vacation. After that, when they come back for the next semester, and then and then he's allowed into the stage to do a presentation where he basically lies and says, "Oh yeah, everyone in the class I was with in Class E, oh, they're all horrible. They're like," he just badmouths everyone, lies about how lazy and awful they are. Basically betrays everyone.
Wow.
And then in the whole arc is basically him kind of realizing, you know, how wrong not just how wrong it was, but him realizing, of course, about how it's not quite what he's supposed to be back in the main Class A and everything. And one of my favorite moments in that too is when he's in Class A again, and the teachers are going so fast, writing everything down, the students are taking notes, and he's just sitting there frozen. The other students in Class A are like, "Man, look at this guy. He can't handle that. He's just sit there frozen." And I've forgotten his name now.
Just say glasses guy.
And Kotaro. And Kotaro is sitting there, and he's actually thinking, "Wait a second, we covered this ages ago. We're actually ahead of Class A. Like Korosensei is a better teacher than the actual teachers in Class A.
Ah.
He was better off where he was." And so ultimately, when he realizes what he's done, he decides he does want to go back to Class A, and he does it by when he's asked to do another speech, essentially, to try and basically he'll announce that it's okay for everyone to even harsher bully the students in Class E. Instead, he pulls out a plaque that had belonged to the principal and smashes it in front of the whole school during the auditorium.
Ooh.
And he's being, of course, put back into Class E.
Yeah, that does sound like a fun arc, but I kind of understand why they want to skip over some stuff. Yeah. I mean, a lot of characters, not enough time.
Oh yeah, like I said, the other two arcs. One of them was more of a gag arc, really, that didn't need that. I can understand them skipping. And another one was arc for one of the other girls in the class, but I can't remember her name either because it's been so long since I actually read through it. But
so many Japanese names. Like, oh great, which one was it again? Even I had a hard time remembering some of the names. I had to write them down. All right. Well, thank you for your insight on that. Just an example of how Korosensei changed the lives of some of the students. So thank you very much for that. Anything else you want to add?
Not that I think off the top of my head, unless you're okay. Other than maybe some of the recommendations for later, but unless you want to just email you those later.
You can if you want to. You can mention some recommendations now.
Okay, there's a new one that just came out on Netflix called B&A, Brand New Animal.
B&A, Brand New
Trigger.
Animal.
Yeah, literally just came out this week on Netflix. And it's an anime about a world where there are these people called beastmen, basically humans that can turn into animals, and they're discriminated against. And the main character is a girl named Michiru who one day has become a beastman. She doesn't know how, so she decides to go to Anima City, a city dedicated just to beastmen, try to find out why she became one, and try to live in peace away from other people.
Okay, that definitely sounds like something in my repertoire. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for your continuing support.
No problem, and usually is hear about what you have to say next week on Silence of the Lambs. Is that really, like, you said that's a Beauty and Beast story. Is that, how do I put this? Is that meant to be a positive relationship, you think, or a negative one, considering one of them is a cannibal killer?
Honestly, if you just look at the movie, it's a lot more positive than how it is in the books.
I imagine, because it sounds like I imagine a love relationship between, like in this case with Korosensei, a former assassin and a teacher would sound kind of odd too. Of course, that story was more about him changing for the better because of the love he had for his teacher. Whereas, I'll be honest, I have not seen Silence of the Lambs. Before I heard it, I imagine it doesn't sound like the killer doesn't change per se.
Yeah, and like I didn't say it was a totally, cut and dry Beauty and the Beast and totally healthy relationship, but the movie, it's a very interesting dynamic, and it doesn't end with them getting together. At least the movie doesn't. I would not recommend the books if you don't like very toxic relationships, but honestly, I'm just looking at the movie mostly.
I haven't seen it either yet, to be honest. I was curious.
Yeah, it is worth the watch. Like Hannibal. I will discuss it more next time. But okay. Anything else?
Forward to that. Thank you.
All right, and thank you very much. And thank you for being here today.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
So I guess that's all then. Goodbye.
Okay, so that's I guess that's everything we have to talk about Assassination Classroom. We'll see you next time for talk on Silence of the Lambs. Remember, if you want to support this podcast, click that Become a Patron button, or follow the link to patron.podbean.com/Beauties and Beasts, or buy my merchandise on Redbubble at DisneyFanatic23.redbubble.com. Until then, if you're a teacher, treat your students with respect. If you're a student, don't give up on your goals. Because even if you're going through a rough patch, you have the potential to be anything you want. And it may not always be what others expect from you. Okay, until next time, stay beautiful and beastly.